everybody, welcome back.
Hello.
And we're here inside of course, the 40 Dodge. You know, let me adjust the brightness here. You can barely see me. Us, actually. There we go. That should be good. That's better. Okay, now we're not so in the dark. So we have Abigail and Mrs. Smith here, and we're going to be taking you on that once promised little tour around historic Monrovia.
It's not raining.
It's not raining. It's actually very nice
But
day.
it's cold.
It's chilly. It's chilly. For those that we know on the East Coast, they're just laughing their heads off. It's not cold. It is brisk, though. It is a brisk 60 degrees or so. But anyways, we're going to take you up along Foothill Boulevard and to a once, well, it's still very famous. It's very well known. Old hotel that has a lot of stories behind it. We're not going to go into all the history, but we will touch upon some of the most notable stories about the Aztec Hotel. And then we'll take you down further what was once a section of Route 66 down to the east side of town and past a historic gas station. And we're gonna wrap up in Library Park, I believe. But we'll take you down Myrtle Avenue. We'll see some Victorian homes and just give you a quick little glimpse of what Monrovia is and why it's special. Okay? So, get in. We're going. Parking lot there.
Abby, what do you think? Ooh. We're pulling into the parking lot. Whoa. Not much to see here, guys. It's a bunch of utility vans. But there is quite a see over here, which is the famous Aztec Hotel, which is also very historic and haunted. Spooky. We've been inside. We actually did a photo shoot one time, a long time ago, and it is very spooky. We went into the basement, and some of the hotel rooms were all really in dismay. It was very spooky. It was very haunted.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
And it was raining.
It was raining that day. It was. Yeah.
The bar there is really cool. The bar inside, it's all like, I guess you would say like maybe Mexican Art Deco or something.
Mayan.
Mayan Art Deco. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're going to step outside of the car and we're going to just do a quick little history about the place. So pardon the road noise. It is kind of busy on Foothill right now, but we're going to take some shots outside and just talk about some of the brief history. Sorry we can't go in. It's not actually open. There's a few businesses that are open, but the main lobby to the hotel is no longer open and functioning. It's a long story, but we'll touch upon it a little bit later on the video. So, all right, let's do it.
You can peek in there. It's kind of dusty.
We'll try.
You can kind of see inside. You can see like there's original furniture.
Yeah, you can see some of the interior.
Oh,
So, you want to tell us a little bit about it there, Mrs. Smith?
Well, it was built by, or what would you say?
It was designed.
Designed by Robert Stacy Judd in 1924. And it's a Art Deco Mayan theme. And in that, there's a lobby, and to the left, there's like a bar, and it's really cool. And then maybe we can try to take some photos, like find some photos online and like splice it into the video.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool, and I think a lot of old Hollywood stars actually stayed here.
Yeah.
Like Gable, because Route 66 is not that far from here. We only live a couple streets above it.
Well, technically, this was Route 66 when it was built.
On Foothill?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, old Hollywood stars would stay here, and apparently there is a underground tunnel that connects the old police station that used to be in Monrovia. It's now a temple, like a Buddhist temple or something, but there is a underground, I guess that was during Prohibition that would happen.
Yes.
But there was a woman that, I guess she died on her honeymoon. She hit her head on a radiator, like a heater in one of the rooms, and she died.
That's one of the stories that are connected to one of the reasons why the Aztec Hotel.
What was she doing that she hit her head on a radiator?
Well, I mean, it's a honeymoon, young couple. I mean, you draw your own conclusions.
That's pretty crazy.
Draw your own conclusions.
Draw your own conclusions. That's getting a little wild.
Well, we've seen some of the beds in these rooms, and of course they're not the 1924 era beds, but they were small twin-sized beds and double occupancy mostly, because it was the 20s and 30s, so whatever. But we're gonna get outside of this echo chamber lobby and check out.
Chamber.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap up in the car and we'll do a little bit more history about the Aztec.
Sounds good.
So you got to see the exterior of the Aztec Hotel. Now, as Ashley said, it was built in 1924, designed by the architectural firm Robert Stacy Judd. And when it opened, it was supposed to be a pretty big affair. It was supposed to be a very popular destination for those who were in Hollywood, because at the time Monrovia was very rural. Anywhere west of, or I should say east of Los Angeles, was pretty much agriculture and undeveloped. Now, Monrovia was also known as the Gem of the Foothills. It was an up-and-coming little city, founded in 1887. The problem with the Aztec Hotel is that it wasn't close enough or big enough to really become what it was designed to be. There is a lot of lore surrounding the Aztec Hotel. As Ashley was describing, the hotel had a tunnel underneath that would lead to the original police station. There's still a police station in Monrovia. It's just over on Ivy now, but it was on Foothill, and Foothill is an original section of Route 66, but by the 1940s and early 50s, they rerouted Route 66 down to Huntington Drive. So, but originally, if you look at photos from the 20s of Route 66 through Monrovia, you will see this street lined with pepper trees. It was a very beautiful street. Now it's very much developed and there's no more pepper trees. But the Aztec was closed in the early 1930s, just right after the latter part of the 20s, between Prohibition being repealed, it became a very seedy hotel. Sadly, there was a lot of, well, unsavory activities. There were definitely murders here. There was a lot of bad things that happened, and that kind of scared people away from the Aztec Hotel. It also became kind of a house of ill repute during the war. So any servicemen that were seen around the Aztec Hotel here on leave, they were definitely reprimanded. So it was not the most, it doesn't have the shining history that we would hope to see, but it is still standing, and it is definitely on the historic registry of historic places in Monrovia. It's definitely protected because it's the only example of this architect's work still standing. And it's so unique. Now, they had painted it, I think in the 30s or 40s, they painted it all kind of a sand color, so it looked monochromatic and it looked like kind of an ancient ruin. But from pictures and postcards, it suggested that the building was originally painted a two-tone color, which we see today, which is a facsimile of the original paint scheme that it received when it opened. So if you want to go online and Google Aztec Hotel Monrovia 1920s, you'll probably find some black and white photos of the interior and the bedrooms and the original coffee shop. The location is still there, but now it's a cigar lounge, but the stained glass that says coffee shop on it is still there. But it's a really neat place, and we still have hope that it will become something great, a great event space. There is a ballroom. The Mayan bar and grill opened recently, and it's now closed again. Every business that comes into this place,
it's got bad luck.
It struggles. It really struggles. The only place that stayed open this entire time is the barber shop, but it's been through several owners. But it's, you know, it is what it is. But it's still here. So fingers crossed for the future of the Aztec Hotel. That sometimes the neon is lit, so the neon has been restored and does operate and function. So that's still good. But all right, well, enough about this dive. Let's go on to the next spot, shall we?
What do you think, Abby?
We're driving up Mayflower right now, heading towards Hillcrest. Off to the left, you're going to see a famous house known as the Idlewild House. This was also appeared in many TV shows and films. One notable TV show was Highway to Heaven, Michael Landon. That was in that back in the 1980s. And then here we are.
On Hillcrest.
Here's Hillcrest.
A lot of historic houses are in this neighborhood. Really beautiful houses.
I'm going to pull over real quick and show you one of the wonders of Monrovia. Turn the car off here. So this house here, if you can see it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that is the Studebaker house. Now, what locals say, this was the house that the Studebaker family owned in town. That's right, the Studebakers of the Studebaker Motor Company, also earlier the carriage company. So they also had a dealership here in town, Big Surprise, down on Foothill, near what is it, Lincoln, I think. But now it's it became a gym. Well, first it was the Studebaker dealership, then it was Sunshine Produce, which I do remember, an antique store, and then an extreme boot camp, and then a thrift store, and then now it's a dentistry office, I think. It's been a whole hat full of things. But this is the house, and back when I was a kid growing up here, I was born and raised in Monrovia, you couldn't see that house. You could not see it because it was completely enshrouded by the trees that are still standing. They've cut them back so people can see the actual home. On Mother's Day, they do home tours here in Monrovia. So you have to sign up and pay a fee to take the home tours, but they open up a lot of these historic homes and you can walk through them and enjoy their grandeur. This one is definitely on the list. Occasionally, I don't think it's on the list all the time, but when they sign up for it, then they open it up and you can go inside and look, which I want to do. I want to go to that house. Ever since I was a child, I've always was enamored by that house. So it's got a beautiful wraparound porch. It was built easily 1900, maybe a little after that. I don't know the exact date when it was built, but it's a permanent fixture here in the Gem City. All right, let's continue. So we're turning now on a Myrtle Avenue. This is the main drag in Monrovia. We're heading south towards downtown. Now, go ahead and pan around and take a look at some of the beautiful homes here. You have all sorts of varieties of antique and classic architecture, Tudor, Spanish Revival, and colonial, craftsman. Definitely a whole hodgepodge of different architecture spanning from turn of the century all the way through the 1950s. Some homes have been lost because of development in the 1970s and 80s.
Which we hate.
Well, we don't appreciate it, but that's sadly progress. Not everybody appreciates all the old stuff. So, you know, but Monrovia is very historically minded for the most part, and there's a lot of protection for some of the older homes. So that's good. There's, of course, classic bungalow courts, Grecian Revival, Mediterranean style, mid-century style, classic Americana. Beautiful wraparound porches or quarter porches, vestibules. There's a beautiful Queen Anne Victorian from 1890. Get that one. Now we're going to cross back over. We're crossing back over. Oh, we got to stop. We almost made the green light. How about that? But if I learn anything about antique cars, traffic signals do not favor them. They will turn red at the moment's notice they see one coming. But yeah, we're going to cross back over Foothill Boulevard, get into Old Town Monrovia.
There's our reflection.
There we are.
Reflecting off the...
This building here was originally a drugstore.
Yeah, now it's a boba.
There's a owl drugstore, and also a Plymouth dealership was behind it, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah. And then on the corner here at the Chase Bank was originally a Chevron gas station.
Oh.
I think I'd rather the gas station than the Chase Bank. I have my opinions about that incorporation.
Yeah.
J.P. Morgan. Yeah. Real fine individual.
I think didn't he die on the Titanic?
No.
Okay.
He didn't. He survived the Titanic sinking.
Oh, that's too bad. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't come at me, okay? I'm just kidding.
Well, he's a robber baron banker type, so you know he's on the table. But he did have a nose condition. He was an alcoholic. I think he was an alcoholic, so his nose got really bad. He had a condition where his nose just got bigger and bigger.
Well,
bigger.
Typically when you are an alcoholic, I think your nose does
yeah, kind of W.C. Fields type of deal.
Yeah. Here's the grocery store, everybody.
There's the Bonds.
The Bonds, yes. You're too expensive.
Always. Here's a lot better, nicer, older architecture on this side. We're going to get to Library Park, and you're going to see the once great antique store in town.
Kaleidoscope that closed
in early 21.
Rob took me there on our first date back in 2008, and I'm so sad that it's closed.
Yep, and there's our dry cleaners. And this used to be Patty's Antique Store, but they closed. She passed away and closed the store, and it's been vacant ever since. There's Basin
141.
141. That's a good place for classic American fare, beef dip sandwiches and fish and chips and all that, and good brewery. Yeah, I think they do brew their own beer there. They have a full bar. It's pretty nice. There's a lot of great small businesses down here in Monrovia, and they also close off a segment of Hurdle every Friday for a street fair.
Which is very cute and charming.
It is. And there's the old bakery. Sadly, that closed.
Oh, yeah, they filmed an episode of Mad Men in that bakery.
Yes, that was before they absolutely gutted it. But they used it for filming after the bakery closed in, I think it was 2007, 2008. But, yeah, it had a good long run. Here's Rudy's Mexican Food. It was originally a small cafe in the 30s and 40s, but then it became a Mexican restaurant in the, I think, the 60s or 70s. But it's a very popular spot. Food's pretty good, decent, and it's family owned and operated. And it's a Monrovia institution, if you will.
This sushi, Mikomi Sushi, that used to be down the street, and this was a kind of like a, I guess like a bourbon bar or a pub.
It was a pub.
And then during COVID, I think someone bought it, or not bought it, but maybe rented it out and had a bunch of like Liberace costumes in there, like actual Liberace stuff in there. And when you would pass by at night, it was all glittery, rhinestone.
Yeah, they had it lit up so it was
It was
sparkly.
lit. It was sparkly. And then the famous JB Burgers. It's a great place to eat.
Yeah, if you like a good breakfast burrito, it's definitely a place to go. They'll take good care of you. The breakfast cuisine is really good. Of course, their lunch too.
And you know, talking about the Titanic, you know, I have a customer. Well, it was her husband. Her husband's mother and grandparents survived the sinking of the Titanic, and I actually knew him. The husband, he died not too long ago. He was a World War II veteran, and he was an expert skier and was from Switzerland, and his mother and grandparents survived the sinking of the Titanic, which I think that's pretty awesome. So
That's great history.
yeah, here's Gene Grinders.
It's a good sandwich shop.
Yeah, I like that place.
Pretty generous portions, quality ingredients, and fair prices. And we're going to go over to the east side of town and show you a historic gas station that is in the process of being redeveloped. But don't cry, it's going to be spared. The pumps are being restored. And it's going to be an event space and also a retail space. But I'll tell you a little bit about it once we get there. We're not very far from now. Okay, friends, here we're just going to do a quick shot from the car, but this is the historic gas station here just north of Route 66 on Shamrock. And we used to know, well, I used to know the gentleman that used to be the proprietor and owner of this wonderful old 1920s Spanish Revival station. That would be Dale Smith, and between 1987 or 88 he owned it all the way up into 2000 and what was it, 2010, 2011?
Yeah.
I used to take my 46 Plymouth that I had before the Dodge to this gas station, and he used to wrench on it. He was a sweet guy. He finally retired in 2011 or 12, and yeah, I think it was 2012 he finally retired and closed the gas station, but he passed away soon after that. He did have some health concerns and conditions, unbeknownst to me. But yeah, sadly, the building was recently sold by his wife, and now it's going to be renovated and restored, which is good news. The gas pumps were there. They were once there, and they were removed to be restored. And so there's big plans brewing for the old gas station. So a lot of great memories here. The inside, oh, I wish I could show you the inside. It was like time stood still. There was just a bunch of great old gas station memorabilia. It all worked. He used everything in here. It's been in a film, I think back in the late 70s. There was a 1920s, 30s style film, period piece, and it was a feature in the picture. I have to look up that movie. But anyways, he's a great guy, and this station was still a functioning gas station up until 1987 when the laws changed regarding old gas pumps and whatnot. So the EPA put the kibosh on using the old antique pumps, and they closed the gas station because of that for EPA reasons. So that's a shame, but a lot of locals here remember it very well back as early as the 1970s and 80s when it was still functioning. A good friend of mine who lives just down the street from here remembers buying baseball cards and Star Wars cards here at the little store there. So good times, great memories, and hopefully it will be still standing and restored for more future fun time events. All right, now to the last destination. Hold on. Okay, so we're now walking to our last destination. Get a little taste of Monrovia history. Oh, look at that T-bird.
It's mine.
It's beautiful. Oh, Arizona? Wow. Don't see very many Arizona historic plates in town. So this building here has some unique and specific history. This is the old Monrovia Plunge, now the Monrovia Historic Society's museum. This was the town public swimming pool.
No swimming pool anymore, though. There's no swimming pool anymore.
No, they filled in the swimming pool.
It sucks.
Well, there's reasons.
Why? Spooky reasons?
Sorry?
spooky reasons?
No. Well, the story is that by the 1950s and early 60s, when the civil rights movement was happening, there was a hate crime against a young African American boy who was killed here. He was drowned in the pool, if I'm not mistaken. And so, because of the racial tensions, they closed the pool and filled in the swimming pool, so no one could swim here because of that.
If you're gonna be a jerk, no one can have fun.
Exactly. So now it is the Monrovia Historic Society Historical Museum, and it's a really neat place. They have some great artifacts and tell this story about Monrovia through its good times and its bad times. So it's important to remember history so we don't repeat it. So this is where we're going to wrap up.
Remember, like, share, and subscribe.
You betcha.
And we're trying to figure out what we're going to do next week. We might go to the Formosa Cafe.
Indeed. That is a great place, and it'll be really fun to share that place with you. So until next time, we're Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
And Abby, too.
And Abby, too. Bye-bye.